whether you're starting a new aesthetics, beauty, or medical practice, or managing one already, and you just want to get it to the next level, what we're going to cover tonight is definitely going to give you some strategies. It's going to give you some new knowledge that will definitely help you. We got a lot of questions, primarily from our inner circle members, our full access inner circle members, and I saw a common theme. So what we're going to do today in this episode, in this session, is we're going to be covering the questions of like, how do you even choose what services or products, devices you're going to offer? I laugh when I say this because it's like, what devices and drugs does Lou recommend? Because there's a secret world of opinions out there, and I really want to dig into his head and get his opinions tonight on both the devices and the drugs side of things. And then how do you determine your best professional identity for yourself? That seems like a really simple question, but I really want to get into that because I know from my own experience and success in business, it doesn't happen until you connect yourself with the world in just the right way. So I want to go into that a little bit. And then how do you hone in on your who you should be serving? And then how do you keep making great decisions when it comes to your offerings? That's another one that, like, it's a theme that keeps coming up and up again and again. Like, I wasted thousands of dollars on this and that. So we're going to dig into some of that. And then clever win-win strategies of negotiating with suppliers. So it could be suppliers of anything that you're purchasing, your equipment, your supplies, your anything, your drugs, your office supplies, whatever it might be. There's so many mistakes you can make. There's so many things that Lou has learned over the years. So that's in general what we're going to cover tonight pretty deeply. And Lou, I'd love you to introduce yourself real quick before we dig in with questions, okay?
Sure. My name is Lou Silberman, everybody. I've met a lot of you guys through the wonderful world of National Laser Institute. For those of you guys that haven't met, my background is as an internet entrepreneur. I started a company back in 1997 called healthforher.com, marketing female health and beauty products online. Figured out how to market online and became the 6th most visited health and beauty website in the country. Evolved from there to the wonderful world of med spas, which stumbled into education. This is our 20th year in the wonderful world of education. Our business is comprised of the medical crowd, the nurses and the doctors doing injections and technology, and the laser tech crowd, the estheticians, and the laser techs. And Louology was formed in the last 2 years as a community to help people grow their businesses in every aspect, from the legalities to the marketing to the products and services and all those fun things like that. And through Louology, we've created a lot of cool avenues. We have our own med spa software that we promote, and branding services and different things like that. And I connected with Erica, I think about 1.5 years or 2 years ago, through a mutual friend. And Erica, why don't you touch base on your background a little bit?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And then we're going to dig into the questions. So I ran 3 businesses that became very loved, multi-million-dollar market leaders. One of them was in the business. We were doing business building and venture capital. The second one was in digital marketing in the creative world. And one of them was in the medical world, and that ended up growing to about 94 million. And I really now just love, I always joke with Lewis, like, this is our going to heaven project. I love giving back. I love working with people. Some of my favorite things, and I can speak for my coworker here, Marissa, my partner here, we love doing branding with you. We love figuring out what the names of your businesses should be, helping you with your domains, and setting up amazing, beautiful websites that are structured properly. And that's the key, is like structuring everything so you can scale and totally dominate. There's things you can do to totally dominate the market. So between being able to mentor you, work with you creatively, and also take all that tech off your shoulders, that's our mission. Is like, once you graduate into the real world, let's hold your hand and keep you from wasting a lot of money, and then also keep you happy and keep you sane. On that note, are you ready to dig in, Lou? I have some questions for you. Is everyone ready? So if you were planning on starting a brand new med spa in a brand new market, what's the first thing you would do to start making these types of decisions on what you're going to offer? What kinds of things would you look at and do to make those decisions?
Well, first off, I'd want to make the decision if I'm going to start off using the world of injections or the world of technologies, or both. That'd be my first decision point. Once I made that determination on injections or technology, Okay, I would say, okay, in the world of injections, gosh, there's a lot out there. There's 7, 10, 15 different things out there. And I don't really want to be all things to all people. So I want to kind of hone in on a couple of things that are interesting to me, that maybe I've been trained on, interesting, and that are, out there in the marketplace, like the Botox of the world or the lip fillers or the blah, blah, blah. And I would not bring on 12 different injections or 12 different injectable services. I'd start with maybe a max of a couple, maybe like a max of 3 to get my feet wet. I would start with the big branded products, like the ones that are familiar names, like a Botox, before I'd start with a Xeomin or Jeuveau or something that's not as familiar. I'd start with a Juvederm or a Restylane versus a Versa. I'd start with the more familiar things as you're getting your feet wet, because that's what the market's calling for in the world of injections. And then once I evolved, then I'd bring on the lesser no brand name injections where you can make a higher profit margin, but now people trust you and they're going to buy what you want to sell them and what you're recommending. And the products are just as good as like Coke and Pepsi, but some things are big branded products like Botox, and you may not have heard of it, Dysport or Jeuveau, but they're just as good and you can make a lot more money. So on the injection side, that's where I'd start. On the technology side, a little overwhelming. Heck, there's probably 10 different really popular modalities out there, from hair removal to skin rejuvenation to tattoo removal to body contouring, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the devices are expensive. So you almost have to start with, okay, what one thing do I want to focus on? What one technology do I want to go with? What's going to bring in the most traffic and not necessarily make as much money, such as laser hair removal? Or do I want to niche it out a little bit and start with something more niche-y, like body contouring or tattoo removal or microneedling? There's no right or wrong, but you can't start with multiple devices because the price point is too expensive. So I would determine what type of modality I want to start with. And that would be my kind of step one, Erica, as far as, okay, here's the injections, here's the technology. Now I've got my platform, my initial foundation before I go to the next step.
What I noticed too is when we're working on branding and also just planning for a website, it's sort of interesting and fun to pretend that you're putting together a one-page brochure. When you're forced to put your message down on a one-page brochure, that really helps you hone in on, and you have to do it in a way that's a little selfish at first and really think about what's going to make you happy. Once you do that, there's tools you can use too. You can do research on regions and find out what the big search terms are. Like, it shows you a mixture of what consumers are searching for. So don't search for the equipment. Search for what consumers are trying to solve, because you know what the equipment, you should know what the equipment solves, right? But people aren't out there searching on the equipment necessarily. And then when you see that data, it'll tell you too how competitive it is. And that's based on what people are spending on paid ads, but you don't have to get into that world right away. But that data shows you like the search volume, and it shows you if there's a high amount of competition, a medium amount, or a low amount of competition. And that kind of data can really help you a lot make those decisions.
So you guys, there's a tool on Google. If you go to google.com, it's called AdWords. On an AdWords, you can put in a word of interest to you to see how many consumers in your area are searching for that service. So let's say you can put in laser hair removal or Botox or lip fillers, and then it'll tell you all the different variations of what people are typing in, like, how much does Botox cost or blah, blah, blah. And they'll tell you how many people a month are searching for that in your area. So you can get a flavor for, in the area that you live in a 60-mile radius, what are consumers looking for? And if you're kind of torn, maybe I'm going to do more of this or more of that, maybe that can help guide you down the road, because you know what your marketplace is demanding, which is what it's asking for. So there's definitely good tools out there that can give you some nice information if you're kind of torn whether to go left or right.
And it's free. And you can also even, one good thing to do is to even look at a competitor in your area who you want to emulate or beat. And Google AdWords can also show you actual ads that are running on those keywords. And you can see if your competition is running ads and what they're saying. All right, you ready for question number 2?
Go for it.
So what are some of the hot trends out there in treatments, treatment devices, and what can make all of our members the most money?
In the world of injectables, I would say Sculptra isn't new. It's been around for a long time, but it's become very, very mainstream. It's an amazing injection that goes safely in the temples and in certain areas. It goes in the booty, the booty's kind of trending, things like that. So So I'd say Sculptra is kind of one of the trending products out there. That's a really great product. Sculptra is a product where it takes months to see the result, but the result's freaking amazing. It's just not a quick fix like a lip filler or something like that. But I'd say that's trending. And I'm a huge fan of PDO threads. PDO threads aren't as mainstream as some things, but they're getting there very quickly. I'd say that's the fastest growing thing in the world of injections, just because great customer satisfaction, great results, great profit margins. I'd say those two items in the world of injectables are probably the trending latest and greatest items that you might want to take a peek into and explore. On the technology side, most of the buzz out there is still on body contouring on these devices that basically tone your tummy and they melt your fat in the same breath. Those are really trending. They're latest, they're greatest, they're becoming everywhere. There's one I love out there called TriLift. It's brand spanking new. It lifts your face with technology, but it's so expensive. It's $250,000. So I would say circle back to that one in 2 years when that same price point drops by, $1 zillion, and it's all of a sudden it's going to be $80,000 and a payment of $1,000 a month versus some crazy price point. But that's kind of an amazing device. Sometimes it happens. Things are new to the marketplace and they just give this crazy price because nobody else has patented it yet. And then, as the time goes on, it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But those are definitely the trending products right now. The cheapest product to get in this industry, as far as, if somebody was on a shoestring budget, is, you start with something like a Botox. You don't have to make your payment for 90 days. Or you start something like a microneedling pen that might be a couple $1,000 versus a crazy $100,000 ticket. I would say those are the most affordable ways to enter the business, because on injections like Botox, you don't have to make the payment for 90 days. And on the pen, either a couple $1,000 you pay cash, you make minimal payments. So I would say those are kind of the entry level products at the most affordable prices.
I'm curious too. Let's say they wanted to offer something non-medical, just something very fundamental that's going to get people in the door and be that first step to be able to work on them for a while and talk to them about whatever else they have.
Right. A lot of people in our business are kind of leaning towards the hydrofacial device, which is a aesthetic technology that's a combination of almost like, if you guys know what a microdermabrasion is, it's kind of that kind of a concept that infuses skincare products into your face at the same time. Treatments, they cost a couple $100. I don't know what the device costs. I'm guessing those devices cost $25,000 or $20,000. The prior president of Allergan, the creator of Botox, he went and took this company public. He actually raised $1 billion to acquire them and took it public on the stock exchange. And so that's kind of a big branded product that's not a injectable or an expensive laser technology that everybody's very, very familiar with. People are asking for it. You see it at the hotels and the spas, and it's everywhere, but it definitely gets somebody in the door and it keeps them coming back. And it's a nice way to kind of start building relationships with people on something that's not going to cost them, $500 or $1,000. Maybe they'll spend $150 or $300 on a service. I would say that's what comes front of mind to me if I was going to offer a service that wasn't, technology or injections from the get-go.
What should our members stay away from? What are the biggest mistakes that people make in the treatments arena?
The biggest mistakes people make is they try to cut corners and buy from Canada or Mexico, and it always bites in the ass. So avoid that like the plague. The other biggest mistake is people ramp up a little too fast, even if maybe they got some family with money or, they got some money to play with. They staff up and they buy all this equipment and they start with too much too soon. So even if I had $1 zillion in the bank and I was going to start a med spa, I wouldn't start with 3 technologies and 10 injections and hire 4 staff and $50,000 a month of marketing. I would truly baby step it and watch before I run and kind of dabble and just go really low budget, low expenses, and just get my feet wet, because you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up, and it just takes time. It's a learning curve. And so most people I see, they start a little too fast, and also sometimes they just quit their job and they jump in head first, which is great. It's great to have a passion for something, but nothing wrong with kind of continuing to pay your bills while you're figuring something out. So maybe you're a nurse and you're at the hospital and you're doing 3 12-hour shifts a week. Don't quit your day job. Keep your nursing job. You still got a couple of days to start on something like this. And so kind of wait till you got some income coming in until you slow down on whatever your income or your revenue source is that pays the bills. A lot of people kind of get too excited and jump too fast, and they walk away from whatever's paying their bills thinking that they'll be profitable in the second month, and all of a sudden second month turns into the 8th month and they're regretting that move.
I can't tell you too how many times I see every single day with our clients that we mentor that they did that. I keep telling them, press the reset button, decide to be extremely happy in your job right now. Be very happy in your job because that job is funding your side gig. Push a reset button, decide to be really happy, just see them as a beautiful funder. And also that's if you're in a social environment, like I said, like a hospital or a practice of some sort right now, they're your clients. I have one client who works in a bank. And that's her client base. Like she just networks through everyone at the bank. Take your time, decide to have fun with it. Be very, very passionate about it, and but decide to take it slowly and not be an overachiever when it comes to the pace. So you talked about Skin Pen in our last inner circle session, and you said no, don't get Skin Pen, but you like something called Exceed. Can you explain that a little bit?
Skin Pen is the biggest brand in microneedling. They were one of the first ones for FDA approval. So it's kind of like Allergan Botox is the biggest brand, but just because Botox is the biggest brand doesn't mean it's the best or the best moneymaker for you. So Skin Pen's the exact same way. It's a good device, just like Botox is a good product. And but there's a lot of alternatives out there, like Exceed does the exact same thing, just as good, probably costs $2,000 less, and blah blah blah. So yeah, Skin Pen is the name out there. It's the brand that you'll be familiar with if you ever want to get a microneedling device, but it's not necessarily the best one. It's just the best branded one and best marketed one.
How do you figure out who you should be serving, how you can get their attention? How do you figure that out?
I think finding a niche, you guys, is really important. I almost went bankrupt once in the online world because I was trying to serve everybody. I was trying to have all types of healthy beauty products for all types of people. And I quickly realized that was a kiss of death. And the reason I turned it around is I found a niche of just female specific customers only. They were kind of, the trendsetters, the yuppie ones that shop at Whole Foods and Nordstrom's and worked out a Lifetime Fitness. And that became my niche. So I think it's really important that when you're trying to define your audience, you don't try to be all things to all people, that you say, okay, who do I want to target? Do I want to target, recently divorced moms or older, more mature gals that are married and aren't working, or just dudes with tattoos or whatever. I think you got to define your audience so you know who to talk to. If you don't, it can be very difficult because you can't be all things to all people. Amazon didn't start off being all things to all people. They started off selling just books. They had a niche, right? Once they built a brand, it became bigger. Now they're all things to all people. Now you can buy anything in Amazon. Walmart was the same way, you guys. In 1958, they were a 5-and-dime store. They sold like 7 things. Now they sell everything. So yes, it'd be wonderful to go out there and market every one of these amazing injectables and technologies and talk to everybody in your town about it. But the reality is that's a longer road. I mean, the most successful attorneys out there, they don't do divorce law and personal injury law and entertainment law and blah, blah, blah. They pick just personal injury or just divorce. They become the expert at that. But once they've got you as a client, then they let you know, oh, I also do this, this, and this. So you really have to ask yourself, okay, who do I want to target? And try to define that and hone in on that. And then what kind of services do I want to, provide for them? And you'll get to the end game a lot quicker doing it that way than you will any other way.
I just recently went through with one of our newer clients. She knows that she wants to cater to women. And so it may take a while for you to get there. I mean, you'll find that you're better at certain areas of the body than other areas of the body.
Sure.
So, really pay attention to what you're good at too. The hack for honing in on what you want to be is a good mentor session. Number one, in my biased opinion, having a mentor. If you don't want a mentor, then one of the best things to do is to say it out loud to yourself and see how you feel after you say it. And then say it to someone who you think is super smart and see what they mean and see what they say. And if it fits who you are. And it's got to be something that you're super passionate about. You just need to take it step by step and pay close attention to what's going to make you happy in life. And then go from there and then check reality out there. And at what point do you start offering packages and memberships? This sort of ties in because, for instance, when Marissa and I are working on designing a website for somebody, we're always putting packages in right away. So you might as well have it to offer. If you have someone who's coming in, they're getting addicted to a certain procedure, they want to be with you every single month. It's a loyalty special. It's always nice to be able to go over to bring them to your website, show them what you have. And it's a loyalty package and it gives them discounts for coming back. It's a great thing to bring up after even one treatment. and just bring it to their attention, give them the option.
When we hear the word membership, we associate it with something cheaper, like a Massage Envy membership, or a membership somewhere is a low price thing. But a lot of providers in this business might say, okay, we're going to do a Botox membership, and we know you get Botox 4 times a year. And normally that would be $500 a treatment or $2,000 a year. We're going to lock in this membership, not $2,000 a year. It's only $1,500 a year. And you just pay monthly, auto pay $80 a month. You come in when you're ready, you get your Botox. And yeah, they're not making that much money off you, but as a member, you're getting in front of the client every 3 months to talk about other services that are the higher price point. So I am seeing a lot of, providers in this space that are doing things like that, a membership, or things that they pick the one thing that's a branded thing that's not gonna be a big profit center, but they kind of lock them in a membership to just get them in front of them again and again and again. I like that angle.
What's your opinion of the Diamond Glow? And do you know how much it runs?
Yeah, Diamond Glow is an Allergan product. So Diamond Glow is actually nothing that they own. Allergan bought a product. So Hydrofacial was number 1 in the marketplace, and a company called Silk Peel was number 2. They bought a company called Silk Peel. They rebranded it to a different name, which I can't remember. Then they rebranded it again to Diamond Glow. But it's very similar to the Hydrofacial. It's the exact same concept, infusing skincare products in your skin. It's a good device. We added it in here once upon a time. And I would say they probably run about $15,000 to $20,000 in that range. So it's very, very similar to the Hydrofacial. The Skin Wave that's kind of in the genre. It's not quite branded, but that's more affordable. That's kind of, again, it's not cheap, but that's down closer to the $13,000 range. Exact same thing. It's just not a big brand. There's a bunch of devices like the Diamond Glow, like the Hydrofacial marketplace that are great devices.
What are some clever ways to negotiate with suppliers? What's the most clever things that you've seen? Because I know some of them aren't negotiable.
Yeah, so some aren't negotiable, some are. The ones that are not negotiable is the injectable companies don't negotiate. They just don't. They'll give you some free samples and some perks here and there, but they don't negotiate. All the technology companies negotiate. Whatever price they tell you something's selling for, you can probably always get it for 20%, 10%, 30% less. There's always some end of quarter sale or special deal. And the second you walk away and say, thanks for your time, I'm going to shop around and see what else is out there, they come back to you a day later. Oh, my manager said I give you a special deal because you're so nice and sweet and you're going to give us a testimonial. So you can always wheel and deal. But some things you can get from the injectable companies, they can sponsor a lot of things for you. They'll buy you wine and cheese and food for free parties and give you a bunch of giveaways and samples like that. The companies like the McKessons of the world, the suppliers that do all those zillions of supplies, they're more volume based. The more you buy, the better deal you get. So, I'm not saying you can't shop them and find, a knockoff company with better pricing, but sometimes those guys aren't the types that wheel and deal too much. Some people do the co-op marketing. I remember when I first started doing business with cool sculpting, before they did this as a norm, I was the first one in the United States to cut a deal with them where for every $1,000 I spent marketing, they gave me $500 of these consumable tips. So if I spent $10,000 marketing cool sculpting, they give me $5,000 of these consumable services. So to me, that was getting like a nice negotiation in a win-win way. Now they have that program for everybody where if you spend marketing, they do a co-op type thing. So sometimes companies that don't offer that, if you present that to them, hey, I'm going to spend $500 a month, $1,000 a month marketing this product of yours. What can you do for me? All of a sudden, you'll find that they'll wheel and deal all of a sudden and give you a bunch of free stuff and things like that. But so that can work out really well.
So lots of times, if they go to one of these shows where they're beauty and aesthetic show where they're selling their products, their devices to the industry, right. When they get off that show, lots of times they have show specials. So our member had not even gone to the show or had anything to do with the show. But she was able to negotiate the show special into her deal just because she said it out loud. She asked an opinion. Lou told her no to what she was going to be buying for tens of thousands of dollars. And she ended up getting this thing for, I think, $2,000. Let's say you're new in the industry and then you're getting like a postcard or a one-page flyer that sums you up in paper. And also online, but in paper, for instance, it could be a surgeon that it has a whole database of people that they had to reject for surgery because they're too big. They need to lose weight. Let's say you help them lose weight. So you can say, hey, can we tap into this database of all of these patients that you turned down? And they have them on file, like, and you don't ask them for the information. You say, can we do some sort of special offer to them? Let's get your weight down in a easy way, blah, 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 this way. And then possibly you can go in for your surgical procedure. So that happens with knee surgery, hip surgery, back surgery, all the time, those kinds of things. So you have to just have a good, smart mentor who's going to help you with these thoughts, put it together, get it tight. And don't just jump to go sign a big lease and commit. Like, try to get in front of someone who's already serving a population of people who need you. If it's a doctor, like a neurologist, let's say, or some dermatologist, a doctor that doesn't have cash pay business at all, they're really not going to want to mix cash pay with the reimbursement business. So don't get complicated. Just know that you're bringing enough value by bringing a really good benefit, a good story to their client base, and start out keeping it clean. I also wanted to address another question that we had in here that was about, do you need an esthetician license to be able to do chemical peels and, those kinds of things?
The answer is no. As long as you have a medical director, you can do anything under the sun. You don't have to go spend $15,000, go to aesthetic school, do things like facials or peels or hydrofacials. If you want to, you can. But no, there's no legal reason to do so. And no, you're totally cool, totally fine. Somebody sent me a private message, and I'll answer the question. They said, Louis, I'm building a business. Any tips? I'm getting some initial clients going. And one of the things I've seen a lot of my friends do has been very successful is they say, hey guys, doing a special scenario for 10 people only. The first 10 people that want to take advantage of an injection, like a Botox or fillers technology treatment, I'm going to do it for you at half price, providing you allow me to show your beautiful before and after pictures to the world. And all of a sudden you pick up 10 clients you've never had. Granted, you don't make much money, but then they become repeat customers. You start building your business where it's kind of like you win together. It's win-win. So I've seen a lot of providers do that. It's worked out really, really well, where they're getting this amazing benefit and they're doing you the favor of the before and after. So it's really it's more of a marketing gimmick, but it's a great way to kind of get some new people in the door. I love that.
So I was trying to find a law firm who can cater to everyone nationwide. And Lou had mentioned to me, number one, it doesn't have to be a lawyer. It could be a paralegal. And number two, it just needs to be someone who's super smart and astute, who's going to give you the solid information. But we have a checklist of what it takes, like to get your MPI number if you don't have one, your national provider's number, to be able to know if you have equipment, whether you need to register it with the state, what kind of credentials do you need to have, what kind of credentials does a medical director in your state need to have. I'm going to be creating a relationship with a paralegal firm. And the paralegal firm is going to take responsibility for anyone anywhere in the country with a flat fee, and of being able to help you with everything, even if you're in a state that requires an MSO, where you're not allowed to own the medical spa unless you're an MD or an MP. But it doesn't have to be a lawyer. It just has to be someone super legally astute, knowing how to do that research, who can put those pieces together for you.
The people that are hungry to succeed in any business in the world, the people that come to community group sessions like this and are Googling and watching videos and spending the time to invest their time and their money in their own personal growth, are always the ones that quote unquote make it in life, and always ones that succeed. So just remember, I promise you guys, if you have a passion, if you want to succeed in this industry, you absolutely can. You just got to acknowledge the fact that whatever we try in life, any avenue we go down in any business, we're going to fail. Whatever we do, we're going to struggle. We're going to hit a brick wall. But as long as you keep going and going and going, I promise you guys, you're going to get there, and it's going to pay off with dividends, and you're going to be doing something that you love for the rest of your life. So if you like this business, if you have a passion for it, figure out a way to pay the bills while you're getting rolling. And I promise you, one day you're going to say, oh my gosh, thank goodness I didn't throw the towel, because I am loving life. And I know thousands and thousands of people that just preach that to me every single day. So just keep your eye on the prize, keep going. We are here for you. We want to be a resource. We want to be your community to answer all your questions. And we appreciate you guys.
We have another mentor session the third Wednesday of every month. It's different in nature. That's interactive Q&A. With the Zooms with Lou, I always look for a theme. So you'll find out when we start posting for next month's Zoom what the overall theme's going to be. And so this one, you got the gist of what the theme was. In the inner circle Zooms, it definitely is Q&A. We really want to dig in and answer every question you have. So please don't hesitate.
There's 30 amazing videos on the Louology.com website. So check out the categories, check out the topics, whether you want to learn about social media or text marketing or this or that. I mean, there's a wealth of information there. Check it out and dive in. Most of the videos are 15, 20 minutes. They're short. You don't have to spend 3 hours watching them, but I know we've all watched a podcast before. We've all spend time on things that are entertaining, the drama books. So go check out the videos that relate to you, that are things that are of interest to you, and just soak them up and let it absorb,